Hello, Earth Angels, and welcome back to another episode of Alignment Academy. It's your host, Kristen, and I'm so happy to be here. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome to Alignment Academy. It's like a soul school where we learn about spirituality, mindset, manifestation, business. I'm a channel. I'm an intuitive business guide. I'm a spiritual mentor, but I really look at business as a spiritual journey, finding your soul's purpose. It's all a spiritual journey back home to yourself. I believe that we're all source consciousness, just pretending to be human. And when you find yourself as source, life gets really good because you realize that this is all just a game. We're playing a game. And when you know the rules to the game, you can play it better. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Today's going to be a very quantum episode. It's kind of fitting that I started that way, just kind of came through like that, but I think it's going to fit the vibe of today. Also, first things first, my podcast manager is going to kill me because my kitchen is a mess, but listen up, guys. I'm about to leave for my Cosmic CEO retreat in Costa Rica, and I'm recording so many podcasts in a row to have content for you guys while I go. And it was either podcast or clean kitchen, but not both. You know what I mean? So today I was like, messy kitchen, whatever. I'm cooking dinner right now because I'm trying to eat healthy before I go. And it's one of those dinners where you do it in steps. And so I can't quite clean up yet. But I also needed to do this podcast episode. So this is just how the cookie crumbles. Don't be mad at me. Sorry that my house is messy, but I kind of feel like it gives it character, you know, like doesn't look so curated all the time. Anyway, I am doing an weird episode today. Like I just want to kind of jam on unpacking some quantum topics because I met up with my beautiful client, Nicolette. Shout out to you, Nicolette, if you're listening. And we hung out because she lives in San Diego. And I was like telling her, I'm like, you got to come to this event with me that my other friend has been inviting me to. It's called like Meditation, Chai and Vibe or something, where you like go to a 7 a.m. meditation class for 30 minutes. There's a meditation and then you drink chai with everyone after. And it was so fun. And we went on a walk to the beach after. It's like 8 a.m. at this point. And we go to the beach and we go on a walk and she's just like is talking to me and she's like, Kristen, some of these quantum terms, like, can you just explain them to me a little bit more? Like, what is a quantum leap? And what do you mean when you're saying like going on a new timeline? And I was like, these are really good questions. This is kind of just the terms and the verbiage that I use and I talk in because I just have been in this quantum space for so long. But for someone that's maybe a little bit newer to the space, it could be very confusing to hear these buzzwords like quantum leap and timeline hop and going on a new timeline. And so I kind of just thought we could use this time together to unpack what all that means. And I also asked my audience to send me questions of like, what are you guys confused about in the quantum space? And you guys, as per usual, pulled through and sent me lots of good questions. So let's start there. And as you guys know, or maybe you don't know if you're a new listener, I learned and did a lot of my studying under Dr. Joe Dispenza. His books are great. I've been to 2 advanced retreats now, or 1 advanced retreats, 1 advanced follow-up retreat rather. And you learn about this there, but I've been studying it on my own. I watch videos. So it's kind of like accumulation of all of that. And I would say in the last year, like I have mastered manifestation. Like I genuinely know I can manifest fucking anything. And genuinely, I've always been a manifestation girly, but like until I've really played in the quantum field like this, I mean, if you guys haven't listened to just my house episode that I just put out 2 weeks ago now, go listen to like me manifesting the house. I've manifested friends at this point. I've manifested lots of money. I've manifested so much. And yeah, I feel like I've mastered it now. And so because I've mastered it, I am ready to share. I'm ready to teach about it. I'm ready to unpack it with you guys so that you can master it too. So the first question I'm going to answer is this question of like, what do you mean by time doesn't exist in the quantum field? And I think this is a great question because when I first heard about time not existing, my mind just didn't have enough information to be able to wrap my mind around this. So let me explain to you in quantum physics terms why time doesn't exist and how you can literally collapse time to manifest anything you want. In this 3D reality, right? In where we are now, there is space, right? We all know what space is. You can see space, and there is time. Time is just the distance between space. So if I'm going to walk from here to my kitchen, me walking is going to take a certain amount of time, right? I'm going to move my legs. I'm going to walk through space, which equals time. Now, what is the quantum field? The quantum field is a dimension, a mental dimension, meaning you don't go there with your physical body. I don't bring my legs legs. I don't bring my face. I don't bring my body. I go there with my consciousness. It's a place your consciousness can go and access. Because you don't go there with your physical body, how do you move through this dimension? How do you move through this field? You move through the quantum field, not through moving through space, but through tapping into different frequencies. That's what they mean by there's infinite potentials in the quantum field. It means that all you do to experience a new potential is to vibrationally attune to it, which is experiencing it through your consciousness. Because in the quantum field, it's not 3D, right? It's no space and no time, right? There's no space and there's no time. So if there's no space, right, you don't have to move from one distance to another, and there's no time, everything is happening now. There's only like one layer, whereas like here you have to go places, you have to go out and get it. It's all happening now. Now, the reason that you can manifest from the quantum field is because when you are playing in the quantum field, scientists thought that it's matter that gives information to the field. But then after lots of studies, I'm not going to get into it because I'm not a quantum scientist, but you can read Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. There was a lot of studies that actually proved that it's the field, this invisible field of energy that actually informs matter. It's not matter that gives information to the field. It's the field that informs matter, meaning whatever you're experiencing up there in the field when you have a coherent signal, meaning getting into theta and sending the signal out and then drawing it to you. It's a whole thing. Now you are manipulating energy. You're manipulating matter. And so when we talk about collapsing time and manifesting from the field, and there's infinite potentials, that's really kind of what we mean. When you're manifesting with the quantum field, you can collapse time because there is no time. So you just tune into the potential, you send the signal out, and then matter rearranges to match your intention because we're all energetic bodies, right? We can measure our electromagnetic field around our body, and now we're calling experiences to us, we're calling matter to us, all that good stuff. That's why time doesn't exist, because everything is happening now because there's no space, so there's no time. So you just attune to the frequency you want to experience. Now, the caveat is, you can't just close your eyes and experience this once. You have to really hold the vibration of what you want to experience, right? So if you're trying to manifest money and you go into your meditation and you're attuning to feeling abundant, and you're like, now, okay, I'm feeling abundance now. I'm feeling whole. I'm feeling worthy. I'm feeling freedom. And then you open your eyes and you just go back to be like, no, but I don't have money. I'm in lack. Like, that's not going to work. The mastery of manifestation is learning to hold the frequency of what you're manifesting in all moments, right? So hope that kind of answers that question. Let's go to the next one. This next question is, what is a quantum leap? I think this is a great question. A quantum leap is similar to when people say, like, I'll just answer both of these questions at once. Like, what's a quantum leap and what does it mean when you're saying, like, I'm on a new timeline, right? Or you just jumped timelines. It's like all kind of the same thing. So the way that I want to explain a timeline, first of all, is based on where I'm at right now, there is energetic potential for what I'm going to do in the future, right? So when I say energetic potential, like based on this moment right now, there are certain people I'm going to meet. There are certain experiences I'm going to get invited to. There's certain opportunities I'm going to do. There's certain, people I'm going to pass at the gym I go to. I think that when you're in a relationship, this is a really good example of like a timeline jump. So let's pretend I'm in a relationship right now, right? And I'm living in this apartment with my boyfriend, and all of a sudden, we do everything together and we hang out with our friends on the weekends and we do this and we do that, and we have like this entire life together. And then all of a sudden, this is like not that fake for me, but like all of a sudden you break up, right? You go this way and I go that way. And let's say I decide to move, I don't know, to Colorado. I just completely altered the timeline that I was on. So I was going this way where, I was potentially going to meet all these people and hang out with all these people on the weekends and go to this gym and then run into this person and have this opportunity. Now I'm moving to Colorado. All the people, all the places, all the opportunities, everything is now going on a separate timeline. So it's literally like a split where you are going down one path with all these like potential things, and then you do something so dramatic or something dramatic happens in your life and you're on a completely new timeline. That's also like a quantum leap. I want to talk about quantum leaps because I think in this like manifestation online community, they're glorified. It's like, oh, you want to quantum leap your income, or you want to quantum leap your life, or you want to listen. As someone who has experienced a lot of quantum leaps, a lot, they are not real. Quantum leaps are not beautiful, because when you quantum leap, you're going on a completely new timeline. Your entire life is going to dematerialize. It's literally has to, the people, the places that you go, the friends that you have, everything has to crumble so it can rebuild, right? You're on a new timeline. There's different characters, there's different places. To your human, that is a lot of change at once. That is a lot of letting go. And humans don't like letting go, right? We like familiarity. We like to know what's going to happen. We like the predictable. It's a lot. When people want a quantum leap, I'm like, are you fucking sure, girl? Like when they want a life change, I'm like, are you sure? Because you're going to have to let go of who you once were, your identity, your friendships, everything. Quantum leaps are sudden vibrational shifts, sudden timeline hops where you were going this way and now you're in a completely new reality. You're in a completely new vibrational space and it can feel sudden. I am quickly interrupting this episode to remind you guys that if you're a listener, which clearly you are, I have created a free meditation for all of you. This meditation was built out of my rock bottom when I needed to trust the universe and release a lot of anxiety I was feeling and I didn't know how. So I learned how to trust the universe and I'm going to teach you how in this meditation. It's really practicing this feeling of being held and supported and remembering that you actually are held and supported by the universe in every single moment. All you have to do to get this meditation is to rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you're listening on, and then go ahead and head over to my podcast Instagram at Alignment Academy Podcast, give it a follow, and then message me on there with a screenshot of your rating or review, whatever platform you're listening on, and I will send you the meditation. Okay, now back to the episode. I'm going to answer this next question because it goes in line with this question. I know this is like a weird format for a podcast, but let's just go with it. This question says, what do you do after realizing you've timeline jumped? Like now what? And this is a really great question because it can be very jarring to your human when like you just end a relationship or you just got let go from your job or you just start a business. Like all of these things can feel really dramatic and like, okay, but like where do I go from here? You know what I mean? As someone, again, who has done this quite a bit in the last year, your best bet is to regulate where you are and surrender into it. Because for me, I resisted the timeline jump so much. Like I was just like, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. You have to start to look at it from the higher perspective that even though maybe your ego is freaking out because it's not what you thought your life was going to be, your soul always knows the way. And typically we get rock bottomed. Like it's not always a rock bottom, but like if you are experiencing a rock bottom, typically we're getting rock bottomed so that we can find ourselves again, our self-worth, and we can attune our vibrational frequency to our soul's true desires. I think the best way to explain this is like to look at my own life, right? I've talked about this plenty on the podcast, but for those that are new here, welcome. When I went through my breakup, last year, it was a complete rock bottom. But if I look at that version of myself, like she was so small, she had such low self-worth. She was not really in the vibrational place to hold the bigness that my life is now. Like I've made so much more money since my breakup. I'm just like a new person. Like my business is booming. I have an entire team. I feel so secure within myself. I don't feel like I need anyone. Like even if my best friend were to like leave me, I'd be like, yeah, I'm hurt, but like I'm going to be okay. Whereas I literally felt like I was not okay last year when I was going through my rock bottom. Now, what that was doing was attuning my vibrational frequency to the reality my soul truly desired. Now I'm on a completely new timeline where I'm literally meeting such insane people, connecting with amazing people, hosting retreats around the world. Like this was not part of the timeline that I was on. It took so much more self-worth and just strength for me to be here. So to relate this back to you, whatever you're going through, even if it feels like you're dying and you're like, holy fuck, like how am I ever going to get through this? Know that Source is probably just trying to strengthen your frequency so that you can actually hold what you desire. And this is why I always talk about business as an initiation. If you're struggling with fear of judgment or fear of being seen, like it's literally initiating you into the next version of you, because the version of you that has what you want, I promise they don't care what other people think. I promise they are really fucking strong. I promise they don't care if they get rejected. Maybe they care, but they keep going, right? So it's like we have to look at everything as an initiation, as a gift. You know what I mean? That's my rant on that. This is a good question. Do I have to focus on one thing at a time to send a clear signal to the field? So the way that Joe Dispenza teaches this, and this way that I love, is by getting clear on your intention with using a letter. So let's say you're wanting to manifest a new client, right? You can use the letter C. This is in his book, Becoming Supernatural. So you use the letter C and then you draw a circle around it. And then you draw 2 squigglies around that kind of like symbolize the quantum. And then on the left side, you're going to write basically like the characteristics of those clients. So maybe clients are soul aligned clients. They pay in full. I don't have to beg them to sign up. I don't know. I'm just like making things up. And then on the right side, you are going to write 3 to 4 emotions of how you're going to feel when that manifests. So you're getting clear on what the frequency feels like. Excited, worthy, enough, chosen. Maybe those are what you feel like. Freedom, right? I don't know. And I'll put a screenshot on if you're watching the video, I'll put a screenshot on the screen of like what this looks like. And then from there, when you're sending the signal out, I just put that letter into the field. I literally just send the letter into the field, and the universe is very intelligent. You are source, so it knows what you mean by that. And then you attune to the right side of the page. So after I send the signal into the field, I go through the emotions. So I'm going to feel freedom. I'm going to feel excited. I'm going to feel worthy. And I just attune to that and then hold that state when you open your eyes. You can focus on a couple things. I mean, this is more advanced. I typically try to focus on one thing until I really kind of nail that frequency. You can add symbols to each other, right? So let's say I'm trying to manifest clients and a house. You can actually write house, but then put the client signal under that, right? I mean, it's kind of like complicated. I've heard him talk about this only once, but that's how I do it. If I'm trying to send a couple things out into the field, I'll just like push them both out and then attune to the emotions that I'm going to feel when both of them manifest. So hope that helps. How to quantum leap into the go with the flow and be there even when old programming comes up. Okay, sorry. I think she had some typos, but I'm guessing you're asking how to quantum leap and then what do you do when old program comes up? So, I mean, this is why manifestation is hard. It's why most people don't quantum leap. It's because you have to be so committed to the new version of yourself that you don't let your past self come up. Really, what you need to do is every time you catch yourself, just try to shorten the time and distance between your reaction and getting back into that new state. So when I feel myself like getting triggered, I immediately am like, no, don't think about this. Like, change your state, change your being. This takes a lot of effort. This is the process. It's hard, right? Like even today, I've been like kind of stuck in this trigger and I'm like, I need to go meditate because this is coming up a lot. I need to deal with it. And it's okay. I mean, you're never going to have a perfect day. It's okay to not have a perfect day. The idea is that you get better and better and better and better until you can hold the frequency. I hope that helps. This question is good. It says, what do you think is the most common block we have towards manifesting? I think it's not feeling worthy of what you want. And this is a question I always get, like, what manifestation stuff do you do? Joe Dispenza, blah, blah, blah. Now, I've said this a couple times. The reason I do feel like Joe Dispenza manifestation works so well for me is because I have done a lot of inner child work, like 8 to 10 years of inner child work at this point. And inner child work is all about feeling worthy. It's all about bringing your worth inward. And when you do that, you are able to have a new vibrational signature, right? I think that we're all kind of operating at like a baseline vibration, right? It's like this like average of all your vibrations, not who you are at your worst, not your best, but it's like the average. And I think that when you do a lot of the inner child work, it raises that base vibration up to a point where now I feel like when I'm visualizing and manifesting what I want and sending all these signals out in the quantum field, it's a lot easier because my vibration is already really high because I'm not really having a lot of density and trauma that I have to deal with because I've dealt with so much in inner child work. So I do think that the biggest block is feeling worthy of it. And I think that the best way to start feeling worthy is with inner child work and doing manifestation on top of it. My schedule is doing Joe Dispenza in the morning and inner child work at night. That's what I do every day. So take what you need. This is the last question I'll answer, but it's kind of just a fun one. It says, have you ever experienced glitches, like odd things after quantum jumping? Absolutely. So I'd made a TikTok about this the other day and I was like, here's like some things that you'll notice like after you timeline jump. I would say the other day I did like a very big timeline jump and like I realized that my gas in my car kept on moving. Like it was never consistent. It was just for like 2 days when I was like in between these timelines. And when I would go back to the timeline, it would be at this level. And then when I would go forward in the timeline, it would be at this level. And I texted Brie about it. I was like, this is crazy. I feel like I'm in a timeline hop. And like I have a almost brand new Mercedes. Like it's nice. It doesn't really I'm going to give you the wrong amount of gas. And yeah, that was just weird. So I've like noticed little things about that. But another way you can tell that you're in a timeline jump is you might be like walking down the street, a street you've always been down, and all of a sudden you see things that you've never seen before. It's like, oh, I've never seen that house before. Like, I've never noticed this restaurant before. That's like a really big sign that you're in a timeline jump. Or even like looking at things at a different level of consciousness. That's a really big timeline jump as well. Like, for example, you have a friend and you're like really sad that you guys had a friendship breakup, and then all of a sudden you're like in a whole new state of being. You're like, I don't even want to be friends with them anymore. Like, we're good. I'm good. I don't feel triggered, blah, blah, blah. So that's another way. So those are a few ways that you can tell you have a timeline hop or like glitches in the matrix, which are just fun. I know this was like a quickie episode. I just wanted to get some content out for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. As always, please share this with anyone you think would benefit. Send it to your friends, send it to your family. Please give me a 5-star review if you feel called. It really helps my podcast grow. And guys, I have big plans for this podcast. So I'm asking you for the bottom of my heart, please just like support in any way you can. I always love hearing from you guys too. If you have any questions about the episode today or takeaways, I would love for you to send me a DM so I can stalk you and we can become friends on the internet. That's always fun. Also, a big announcement, Alignment Mastery, my 3-month mentorship for women and entrepreneurs who are ready to heal their shit so they can show up confidently and consistently in their career, business. It's basically an inner work program to deal with inner child, perfectionism, shadow, all that stuff is reopening. We're starting at the end of June. So if you want to join me in Alignment Mastery and you're ready to finally reach your next level, then book a call with the link below and we can hop on a phone call and work together. I'm so excited for, everything that's happening in June. I think that this actually might be the last podcast in this apartment. We'll see, but timeline hop is underway for me. And this is actually another good example of a timeline jump, just since we're on the topic, is me moving, right? I go to the same gym, the same coffee shop, see the same people. As soon as I move, I'm in a timeline jump. It's like new people, new experiences, new places, new gym, new everything. So now I'm like have a whole new set of characters that I'm going to be friends with. It's a big timeline jump. Yeah. That's on quantum physics, guys. I know this was like a crazy lesson, but I hope you learned something. I tried to explain it in the best way I could. So I love y'all. I'll see you soon and have a great week. Bye.